So, uh, again, I think many are familiar with the idea of a thought form. So, but just to go into it a little more deeply. So, say, for example, I have a good example because a lot of you are familiar with the anchoring light, meditation that's been going on now over 13 years, right? So, yay. So, every Monday evening without fail, every single week, going over 13 years, has developed a thought form of the anchoring light meditation. That thought form is there. So when we come in, how we meet, whether we meet, through the internet or whether we meet in person, that thought form is already there. It shows up on Monday evening. Okay, so before where we had to build up, to the energy and in the beginning years, we had the intervention of star beings. Our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters was like a link for us to go from here to here. They were the link. But so many times it was really more cosmic. So, whether the Palladians, the Arcturians in particular, and other cosmic beings had to be like that intermediary for us to get up to this level. We don't need that anymore. Of course, we love our star brothers and sisters. We appreciate them, and they do come in, but they're like, they're good. They could do it. We built a thought form. We built a thought form together. Okay, and so that thought form now exists. And to the point where on Monday evenings, if there's a weather conditions or tornado or whatever they're saying, when Monday evening comes, that does not happen because that thought form is anchored because it has to continue unless it gets dismantled. And nobody's going to be dismantled. And there might be others on the other side trying to dismantle it, but no, we're too strong. They can't do that. So thought forms even has to do with your own home, your own family, yourself. And most of us here, I believe, already aware how powerful our thoughts are. And so we do monitor our thoughts. And it's really easy. There's a couple things. One, your own thoughts can generate from yourself. You're thinking about the past or, different things like our mind is a little computer. It holds data in it, and we can think about that. Okay, maybe something comes up, in our own thought form that says, wow, I'm thinking about this. Was this an unresolved issue? May I have the opportunity to heal that? So all of that is going on in our minds. But now we can hold a thought form, that says, I stay in peace and centeredness. I am at peace in the midst of chaos. I hold my mastery. Nothing jerks my chain. I have the power, and I'm calling upon the higher thought forms of the celestial realm to assist me. I want to tap into the higher thought forms of peace and balance. Okay, that can happen. You just have to keep on doing it. And then you are tapping into this thought form. You're bringing its energy into your field, and you just start to live that way. You just start to live that way. So when I tell you it's powerful and you want to really master this, because in the years to come, we're in the midst of change. We definitely are in the midst of change. So even you can approach it from fear, which a lot of people do. That's what you're seeing mostly out there in the masses. Or you can approach it with mastery. Okay, mastery meaning, okay, that you have your thought forms, your set, you are practicing in, you're making them stronger, you're anchoring it, you're following your spiritual path. And so you can be in the midst of stuff and still be peaceful. You have a divine armor around you because you are in your centeredness and you cannot be manipulated. Okay, versus people that have no clue of thought forms or the thoughts coming out of their minds. Also, with thoughts, what about those thoughts that are not your own? You got to watch out for those too. And as your thought forms are that of service, of love, of support, of peace, of kindness, of all of that, all of those good attributes, those higher attributes, they become more anchored within your electromagnetic field. But say out of the clear blue sky, you get a thought. And this thought is like, igniting some level of, let's just say, of upsetment or some sort of irritation, where's that thought form coming from? More than likely, not from you. And so all you have is the power. You have the power to say, out, out. Now I say, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth, which means holy, holy, holy is the Lord God of hosts. And that's a very powerful mantra, if you will, but there's many others that it has to be banished. It goes. It's a thought. Some other person or entity's thought coming into your mind that's not your own. You don't have to accept that. But you got to be aware to say, wait a minute, this is not coming from me. And you have the power. You don't be afraid of it. You said, no, get out of here. Because once you know who you are, and look at I always say, hey, do you see my crew behind me? You hold the Christ consciousness, you hold the divine Maitreya, you hold the similitude. Do you know the power that you hold and the group that you are aligned with? What is there to be fearful of? You just need to wake up and start doing those kind of practices that align yourself with the higher thought forms of light. You're aware of your thoughts. You try your best. Nobody's perfect, but to try to do the right thing, try to come from a place of righteousness, come from a place of love, come from a place of support. Okay. All of us here are caring people. We are caring, loving people. And that's what you keep. That's your armor. So any infiltration that comes in that's trying to cause you, and it will, cause you to be irritated or upset, or you find yourself in competition, or you want to. Now let me just say this: there's a lot of things that have been programmed to cause us to fall into irritation or chaos. One of them is politics, the other one is religion, and there's many others. Okay, because they don't have the tolerance. Okay, it's like either or, it's geared that way. So we become polarized, and that polarization brings forth the mental thoughts and the emotions, of the lower vibration. So you have to be very careful of that. And generally, just through life, you just have to come from that centered position of the neutral observer that keeps you aligned with the higher thoughts that are coming to you from the higher realms. Those are the thoughts that you want to hook onto, and they will come to you. It's known as divine guidance, is known as divine support. And what if you say, hey guys, you know what? I'm praying for divine intervention. You consciously expect it. And guess what? It absolutely happens. And guess what? Your light absolutely changes and things move forward no matter what's going on around you, because you have developed this higher thought forms that circle all around you. They circle around your environment, they circle around the planet. And so you see that you go through your life, not to say that it's perfect, but most certainly more improved, with grace and with ease. And it's a big secret, but the masters have written about this in the Gnostic Gospels and other places. You have to seek it out and say, this is who you are. And Jesus the Christ said, as I can do, you can do also. Okay. And the story of, in the storm with the boat, and, all the apostles are like freaking out and he's sleeping. Okay. So there's a lot of examples that you could look at to remind yourself of who you are and the power that you have. So right now, you powerful light bearers, we're going to do a meditation, and we are going to dismantle a thought form. And the thought form that's still out there that, we just need to continually work on this is a thought form. It's the same thought form of a civil war, or what's the word I want to say? Um, continued extreme polarities in our political and society of the United States. There's an agenda to weaken the United States. There is an agenda. Now, everything gets corrupted along the way. Nothing to do with politics whatsoever. In fact, I don't get involved in it because it's happening on a higher level, who are generating these thought forms to the United States and around the world. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight together is we're going to replace that thought form. We're going to dismantle it, and then we're going to replace it with a higher thought form, okay, of diplomacy, of tolerance, of understanding, of respect. Let's feed into that thought form, replacing the ones of extreme polarity and hatred and war, because that's what that energy is holding, the potential for those things, I should say. And so we want to just start to, you know, and probably that would be something we may want to start doing on a regular basis until we can at some point remove it from the planet as it ascends. And it will be removed at some point, but let's do it sooner than later. Okay. All right. So, I have to get my music. I left it. So I'm just going to walk away. You could look at the beautiful pictures behind me, and I'll be right back because I think some music will be good for us to go into this deep meditation. Hold on one moment. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Uh, Give me one moment. Make sure we do not get disturbed. All right. All right. So, everybody, now you would just put the intention that we are going to do this important work. And we will get started. So, first, we will start with the breath. Our intention is to work with the ascended masters, the radiant ones, the beings of light that have been holding the highest thought form of peace and balance upon the earth. We are now going to work in tapping into that thought form, anchor it within ourselves and onto the planet. And then we will stay vigilant in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. So let us start with the sacred holy in-breath and out-breath. And the remembering that we breathe the breath of Brahma, we breathe the breath of the divine. And already with the very intention, the very thought to be here at this time in this eternal now for higher service, to expand our knowledge and our wisdom, to come once again into the higher alignment of our most powerful, magnificent selves, in the remembering of who we are and what we are capable of doing. And so each and every sacred in-breath and out-breath continues to become more rarefied as this seeking of the higher light and the higher dimensional realms of light begin to align, begin to attract those thought elementals, our desire for this higher power to integrate, amplify, and radiate our own thoughts of peace and balance upon the sacred earth. For we are the children of the earth, the children of light, who have not forgotten. And we come together with a higher heart of compassion and unconditional love for our sacred planet and for all earth and her life upon it. And with each and every breath, we begin to breathe in the holy sacred vibrations of this higher thought that comes from the higher realms of light, the Asi Shalom, the peace that comes from the higher realms of God. And as we continue to breathe this sacred breath, as we continue to allow it to radiate and move and expand, it becomes all encompassing of this group connected by hearts and minds. That this individual thought form that we now have created by aligning ourselves with this sacred mission and purpose and intention now begins to fuse with each holy breath, integrates the higher Asi Shalom, the higher peace, now moving in and through our individual and collective field. And we breathe deep this peace that's unshakable, unmovable. And we are graced and blessed as it courses in and through us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Each breath anchors this more deeply within us and around us until we are in complete alignment with this highest thought form from the celestial realms of light, to bring in this divine sacred grace into the power of our own thoughts. And so we now come together as the family of light to dismantle all that is not of the highest alignment with the Asi Shalom and the highest realms of light. That is the antithesis of the Christ consciousness and the divine Maitreya. We are here and we are awake, and we remember who we are and the power that we hold. And we come together as this tribe of light. We come together and we see in our spiritual eye our beloved planet from the perspective of the cosmos. And we look at this blue pearl and realize that there is only one humanity upon the planet, and that all the kingdoms of the earth are sacred, important, and play a symbiotic role in the whole life form of the sacred planet Gaia. And we hold the cosmic intention of the human kingdom to remember its source of where it comes as the guardians of the earth and all of her life, that sacred charge comes back into the deepest memory once again of all humanity. And as we align ourselves in this remembering of who we are and why we are here, upon the guardianship that we have been entrusted with, we now choose to move into the highest alignment, bringing in the Asi Shalom, the peace of one humanity on one creational globe. And so we see very clearly in our spiritual eye a great dismantling of a crusted, dark thought form. And as we look from a distance at it, we can see that its time is coming to a close, even as it tries to continue to do what it does. That the time for separation, the time for extreme polarities that generate hatred and war, that is no longer serving. All lessons have been learned and a new day is upon us, and we do not accept this thought form as we look at it and how it manifests itself to us. We do not accept this thought form. Its days have come, and it is to be dismantled and banished, for it serves no purpose at this point upon the earth and all of her life. And so we see ourselves mentally just dismantling it in any way you see how it's done. We begin to dismantle this energetic thought form and all the elementals attached to it, blessing the elementals to go back to its source and go to the light. And now saying with love that this thought form of war, of separation, of extreme polarities and imbalances can now disengage itself from the electromagnetic field of the earth. It can disengage itself, all of its parts dismantled, and to go into the light or into the homeostasis of where it originated. And now we see a new thought form forming, and it has been forming for a while. And it is a thought form of great, brilliant light, of many rainbows, colors of the earth and beyond. And is this thought form that we bring our gaze and intention to and build upon it, as it represents peace, tolerance, understanding, diplomacy, respect, and oneness of all humanity. We bring our own energy in whichever way it comes to you, that we can now add to this thought form our mental intention of bringing the sacred middle path upon the earth to balance polarities. We bring it in and we hold it. We reinforce it. We anchor it. And we see as we do put our intention and energy that the colors and the sacred geometries and the tones that create this thought form begin to amplify and radiate more dynamically, anchoring more deeply upon the earth as we hold this mental intention. It is a beautiful geometry that radiates colors of most brilliant, most powerful. And as it radiates and as it continues to amplify and anchor, we now see how this is manifested upon the human kingdom and all the kingdoms of the earth. We see governances working together for the welfare of the planet and all of its life. We see cooperation, we see diplomacy, and we see emotional bodies of those involved now calm and balanced. We see that this thought form brings in a cooperation and collaboration of all life, that food is available for all humanity and all life, that a great and powerful cooperation of resources is shared upon the earth for all people and all life. And we will hold this intention, hold our power, even as this ends where we are together. And it will continue as your thought goes to this thought form that is being amplified, that holds all the heart's desires of so many upon the planet for peace. And we will continue this sacred work in our own way. And we are blessed to have the experience of this peace to be within us and around us, as it also flows within us and helps us in our own peace. And so for just these few more moments, we breathe the sacred breath and intend to anchor this higher thought form from the ascended realms of light upon the earth and for all of her life. And now the sense of the return does come. And we know that there is much to do. But we choose to anchor this higher thought form of peace within us so we can share it. That by our examples, others will pick up on this powerful thought form that is in its creational process and will continue to grow, continue to be strong, and cannot be disturbed or dismantled. And on the count of 3, we'll prepare ourselves to be back, awake, alert, and grounded. 1, 2, and 3. And as we are coming back, I am sharing my screen. And those who are here will hear the words, but I believe many here are familiar with them. Let us all say together, we remember. We remember we are spiritual beings of light, one with the source of all creation. We remember all is one. We remember we are creators and part of a divine creative plan. We remember we are here in physical expression as guardians and stewards to earth, and we work in collaboration with other spiritual beings of light from various streams of consciousness. We work together, bounded by love, to liberate Earth Mother, to take her place as a world of peace. We walk the path of love and light. Amen, 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 and amen. Let me stop share. Okay, thank you all so much for sharing your light. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much for coming. I'm happy that I held sacred space here. So there was the 3 of us here, as we have a number of people who have joined us on Zoom. And I would just want to say, as the ascended masters say, thank you for showing up, because we are in a world of choice. We do have choice. So the fact that we show up is a choice, and it's a powerful choice. But I feel really good. I have no fear about the future in terms of there's going to be adjustments, obviously, that is going to take place, but I have a better feeling that I do. More people are walking up, and guess what? It doesn't need to take everybody. It just really takes a small, dedicated core of people, group, that can make a better timeline shift. So I'm optimistic to it. This is the time to get important information out. I want to say to everybody, I am going to be more involved in teaching. And so one of the things I want to do is offer for anybody who's fairly new to the mystical path. It's like the mystical path is Kabbalion 101. Everybody has to know the Kabbalion. That's so important. So there's a lot of new people that want to know more, and how do I do this? And so that's going to be a class that's going to be upcoming. So be on the lookout for that. That's sort of like an introduction class. Again, we thank you for your participation and also for your donations. That's how we keep things going. So we appreciate so much of you that do contribute. Many of you, contribute monthly, or some send some lump sum amount of money at one time. It is all deeply appreciated. Are there any questions? And thank you, Will. I'm glad. Thank you, lovely and powerful. Thank you, Will. If there are any questions, you can raise your hand, or you could just put it in the chat. If not, let me see. Okay. All righty. And if any of you are new to thought forms, as I said, just go on Google this Theosophy with Lead Beater. I like Lead Beater. He really has a good explanation, but there are many others that do too. But Lead Beater is one of my favorites. Okay, so with that, I'll say namaste, family of light. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again. Hope to see you on Monday, Anchoring Light. Bye.